Hey everyone!
Hello.
Oh, hi.
Welcome
Oh,
to
hi.
Friday live stream.
Hey, it's you. Hey, good to
Hey.
see you.
What's up, guys?
Well,
Uh,
I missed last week because I'm working in the hospital.
the
week.
hospital, what is it?
You weren't there last week?
Building.
No.
Oh, all right.
Ian.
I was coming to the end of a 2-week stint covering the neurology consult service.
So what does that mean? Like you have to be walking around, and then when they paid you,
Do you have your
Yeah,
white coat
Ryan
on and a
Manila.
clipboard? And a
I
clipboard
haven't had a
stethoscope.
I haven't had a pager in years.
I know what to get you for Christmas now.
no, but they say your name over the PA, right, in the
No.
hospital.
The red phone
course
and the
not.
white phone.
No, first of all,
Evan, thank you.
nobody contacts me directly. They go through the resident. They go through I have a team of people. I have like 6 people working with
You
me.
have minions and underlings?
Wait a
Oh
minute.
yeah, it's awesome.
So you're
Oh,
they have to filter these calls through your minions.
It's not like I'm getting calls. The neurology service gets officially consulted,
Yeah.
right? We get asked to see a patient. They put in a consult.
Mm-hmm.
They will usually talk to the senior resident on the consult service, right? Or if it's overnight, whoever's on call, and then we have to see the patient the next day. And then we do a full history and exam. We figure out what the question is. Sometimes it's not obvious,
Yeah.
but ideally it's like, we have a patient, they have a new right-sided weakness, we think they may have had a stroke, evaluate them, or whatever, or a patient had a seizure, help us manage their seizure medication.
So they
Then
talk amongst themselves, and then they
the
if they don't
team
know the
presents
answer.
the case to me.
Oh, okay.
Then we go back and I examine the patient. We come up with our final recommendations, and we give them to the primary team. And then we follow as long as we need to manage the neurological issues. So basically, we're just managing any neurological issues on patients who are not on the neurology service. They're on the medical service or the surgical service, or on some other service.
Or in the
hospital.
ER.
Right.
Or in the ER. We see a lot of patients in the ER. So usually we have a resident at all times in the ER, and they will call me if there's a patient that they're going to discharge directly from the ER, right? And then I will staff the patient. That's what we call it. So I'll staff the patient with the resident, basically make sure that they're recommending the right thing. If the patient is going to come into the hospital, then the full consult team has to see them. And
So
we do
Steve,
a
if they
formal
call you
consult.
to the ER, like, do you immediately start running with like a clipboard in your hand with
Yeah.
the lab coat. You don't ever run in the hospital.
Never run in the hospital.
Just TV,
Only if you're
is
carrying
so full
scissors.
of crap. Everything you see on TV is bullshit.
There's no music starting up in the background.
You're not having like
Yeah.
sex with like 3 people.
There's not
in
a
the
cart jostling
Why not?
around down the hall as they run with the patient on the cart.
hospital. Really?
Jay, your movie collection of hospital stuff is very interesting with that description. You know.
Well, I mean, most of this is coming from like probably not that many TV shows. Like I watched all of House.
Yeah.
I begrudgingly watched some of what is that?
Scrubs.
VR?
Grey's Anatomy, which is like one of the worst TV shows ever.
Yeah, it's like soap opera TV. But yeah, Dr.
General
House
Hospital. I mean,
is so is bad. I mean, it's a fun show, but it has no representation of what actually happens in medicine. The two things that stick out for Dr. House. One is that like the 3 people he has working with him
Yeah.
do everything. They do everything. Like if you order a test, they do it. You know what I mean? They're like putting the person through the MRI scanner and
Oh yeah, you're right. It's
doing
always
the lab
them.
test. It's always it's ridiculous. It's like there are people in the hospital that will do that for you. Like the residents don't do all the tests. It makes no sense whatsoever. But the other thing is that the process they go through is ridiculously linear. You know what I mean? It's optimized for storytelling. It's not how medicine works.
Yeah.
It's like this is the probable answer. So let's work up just the one thing I think it is. And when that's wrong, they got to go to the next thing. And then that's wrong. And then they have their epiphany and they make their diagnosis. As opposed to let's work them up for everything that we think it is at the
Work
same
'em up.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's work them over.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
a
mean,
good point.
Right.
That's a good observation that I think mostly only doctors would make, right? Because we don't really know like how they do it. But there's an array of things it could be, and you test for everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, not everything. That's part of the skill is knowing what do you need to work up in the first round, and when do you do things like in reaction. Like you could say, well, let's do the basic blood work. We'll do an MRI scan of the brain. If that doesn't give us the answer, then we may need to do this other study. So if doing everything is what we call the gunshot approach, and that's not a good way to do it. But there's the things you have to understand. What are the things I have to work up? And what are the things that I could work up only as a reaction to the first round of testing?
Yeah.
So and it's a very important, that sequence, like the diagnostic sequence you go through is very important, and you have to get that right. You have to, you don't want to miss things in the first round, and you don't want to do things that are unnecessary in the first round, and you have to know to respond to the tests that you're doing. So there's always like this algorithm of, we'll do A. If A shows this, then we will react this way. If it shows something else, we'll react this other way, whatever. And then for every test that you do, you should have some idea of how it will affect your management of the patient. And that's like, so when we're doing the morning rounds, like I go into the hospital in the morning, I get together with my team, they present all the cases for the last 24 hours. And those are teaching rounds. So I'm like teaching them how to evaluate the patient and what to do when we come up to our conclusion. And then we go examine the patient and do the final evaluation. But like I'll always ask them, and how will that affect our management of the patient? Like what test do you want to do? And then why do you want to do that?
Yeah.
How is that going to make any difference? We don't do it just for shits and giggles, right? We don't do it just for our own curiosity. Because every test has a cost, right?
Yeah.
There's a literal cost, there's an opportunity cost, and there's a risk to doing it. No test is risk-free. And that all has to be justified by how is this going to help us manage this patient properly. And sometimes, the more expertise you have, the less of a workup you do. Like the more comfortable you are with not doing things. Because like your first rookie thing to do is let's just do everything and cover all the bases. And so the first thing you learn is all the tests you can do. And then as you get more sophisticated, you learn which tests you don't have to do, or the sequence of events of testing that you should do.
Steve, do you
get
ever
much
talk
more
to people,
strategic.
do you ever talk to people like in the place where they keep all the medicine? Like you have to have a private conversation, so you duck in the door.
Like the pharmacy.
No, but like in the TV show, they're always in some
Talk to
room.
who?
Whatever. You have to yell at someone, or you have to have a private conversation. Do you duck into one of like the hospital rooms? Like
No,
all
the only time that would come up is if like I'm giving a resident or a student personal feedback about their performance.
Ooh, dressing them down.
Dressing them
Not dressing
down.
them, not dressing them down, giving them constructive feedback.
I get
which
that.
is-
I'm being
which-
snarky.
which
Is it the polite sandwich?
no? It's
Nice,
well, it's every,
nice hair today.
Should do that to everybody. Like everyone
killed
gets their
5
performance
people.
review at the end of the rotation.
Your shoes are cool.
No, the compliment sandwich. You mean
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did I say?
You said the
polite sandwich?
polite
Polite
sandwich.
No, it's just there is a way to give constructive feedback. You
Yeah.
know,
Absolutely.
tell them this is what you're doing well. This is what you need to work on. Etc. And they
like-
want to hear that. They're there to they want to. If you could make them get better at their job, they love that. That's what they're there for.
I guess a TV show that was realistic about medicine wouldn't be that entertaining then.
It could be. It just wouldn't.
Ew.
It wouldn't be so melodramatic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
It's
I
like
think
the
we
same
should
thing
start
with lawyer.
reviewing TikTok Hospital. Have you guys seen TikTok Hospital?
TikTok
at all?
Hospital.
No, what is that?
Gosh, I can
God,
only
Is it
it's-
terrible?
It's something. It's something maybe we should do a review of. It's really interesting.
Right.
Why
right.
don't we click over to some
Hang
of
on,
the...
I'm not done yet.
Oh, okay.
So there's two other things I want to
Wow.
say about.
Yeah, he hasn't been here in 2 weeks, Jay.
Yeah, what the hell,
Give him
Jay?
Some time.
Click
Also, Jay
over.
is apparently
Who the hell
Ian.
you think you
I
are?
gotta change it.
Um,
What?
it's
No,
It says
keep talking.
Ian.
It's actually been
Oh, yeah, I am Ian tonight, by the way.
I've had a fantastic lineup of patients over the last 2 weeks. Really interesting. Sometimes you have you have 2 week stints where it's the usual patient, one after the other. Change of mental status, like it's the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
But
So what are their
it's-
names and social security numbers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
A
you
lot
can't
of
say.
very interesting pathology. But the other thing is the hospital is overwhelmed.
Yeah.
We are totally overwhelmed with COVID, and the whole hospital is backed up. And there's a lot of cranky patients. Like almost every ER patient I go to, like they just immediately start complaining about the service. They're like, I'm sitting in the hallway and no one's whatever. No one's brought me food in 2 days, and
Wow.
some-
Days.
I'd complain
sometimes
after 2 days of not
that was
eating,
for good
yes.
reason. But
I'd call my lawyer.
the no, that wasn't for neglect, but that was because the guy can't eat. But the point is that
I don't want that.
what's
disease.
happening is that the hospital's completely full. So when patients are in the emergency room and they're getting admitted, they have to stay in the ER until the bed opens up.
Mm-hmm.
So they may be in the ER for a day or
Wow.
2 days. Like they're just getting their whole hospitalization in the ER.
Yeah.
You
Not
know?
fun.
And you're
Not
more
fun.
exposed, right? Like the
It's
ER
a
is
terrible place to be. It is terrible. It's noisy. You may not even have your own cubicle. At best you have a cubicle, or
You get a sheet or
At
one of
worst,
those
you're in the
curtains.
hallway.
Wait, you're
The
putting
wo-
them to work in a cubicle too?
yeah.
Well,
The worst-
yeah,
the-
some-
the
Yeah,
worst
something.
pain I ever heard a human in was when I went to the ER and the guy, right across from me, right next to me, it's all sheet walls, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the hanger walls.
Yeah.
He was passing a kidney stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And let me tell you, I completely forgot about my problem. Like that guy
Yeah.
was in so much pain that you could feel it dripping from the way he was reacting.
That's the
You-
worst pain that you can have.
He was pleading with the nurse and he was trying to talk to her, he was trying to comfort himself by having
Yeah.
the nurse respond to him, and he couldn't even form words.
Right.
He wanted to be like, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know that it could
Yeah.
be so bad is what he was trying to say.
Yeah. Like you were not aware that pain can hurt that much.
Yeah.
No, that's
I thought-
morphine pain. That is pain. Yeah.
Is that the
Yeah.
worst pain for men or people with penises? I guess.
So
Or-
it's definitely the worst pain for men. It rivals birth, and I've had
Mm.
women with both say that the kidney pain is worse, but that's probably you'll get different answers if you ask
Oh,
different
boy.
women. But it
Hmm.
rivals birthing pains,
Wow.
if not exceeds it.
Can they just knock you out?
Yeah, you don't knock
Make
you
me
out. You just give you-
unconscious.
We give you morphine until or
then you
whatever,
don't
some
care, yeah.
narcotic,
Hmm.
until you don't care.
Yeah, I'm happy that this is not in our family. You know what I mean? Like I don't hear about kidney stones.
Keep
the
well
number.
hydrated.
Yes, drink a lot of water.
Your urine should be pale. Your urine should be pale. If your urine
Yes,
gets tea dark, then you're doing
Yeah.
something wrong. But some people do have a predisposition for it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's just a terrible thing to deal with.
But
All
what
right,
kind of
now
tea? Green tea or black tea?
Well, if it looks like green tea, you're really in trouble.
Or black tea? Black tea,
Rooibos.
it's okay.
Rooibos would be the worst.
Rooibos, yeah, okay.
Rooibos.
Steve, did you have another point you wanted to make about the
No,
hospital?
now you're clear, Jay. You can go.
Yeah, I just was saying we should click over. Bob and I found some interesting stuff this week.
Yeah.
Evan found something this week as well.
I
Good.
have them just kind of in random order. So
Yeah,
It's
don't
on
worry.
random. Oh, hey, I like that.
wow, interesting.
Subtle
What
reminder.
is that, by the way?
It's a Christmas gift for all of our
It is a Christmas gift.
that all of our
Available-
listeners can
What
purchase
Christmas
still.
coming in? Oh,
Available at fine bookstores near you.
Online. Don't forget
online
the audiobook.
probably, I
A
think.
nice
Mhm.
compliment to the
That's true.
the audiobook
Visual
is
print.
actually the most popular version of the book.
That's true. You
Yeah.
can put that right in
Aud-
a stocking, sort of.
Bits, not atoms.
hmm Here's the first thing, Jay.
I love this. You just got to read it.
Okay.
I'll give
Uh-oh.
you 5 seconds to read it.
A bean meme.
Yeah.
It is so true. It is so true. The Force Awakens literally was copying A New Hope's homework.
hmm
What
Oh my
bozo
gosh.
at Disney? Like there are people whose job it is to vet
To do
What-
their
what-
job.
what is being
Yeah, right.
proposed. Like we're going to spend $1 billion making a series of movies, and they walked in with a script that was literally a rewrite of A New Hope. Like it was a retread of
Yeah.
movies that already were made. And what
Mhm.
idiot said okay to that? Was it Kathleen Kennedy? I don't get it.
Mhm.
I just don't understand. There are a million untold stories in the Star Wars universe, and they rebooted the first 3 Star Wars movies. I
was
I
dumb.
lost a lot for Disney right then. That was it.
It was my favorite though. I think it was XKCD. Like before the third movie came out,
Yeah.
they wrote like, "Oh, here's the plot of the last movie, the 9th movie," and it was essentially a genericized version of what you imagine the plot would be, and he nailed it. Like nailed
Oh
the
wow.
third movie. You know, he said like some villain from the first trilogy will come back
Yeah.
somehow, and they'll have to face some new technological terror that they will have to either that will destroy the universe if they don't whatever. It's just like
Oh my gosh.
in generic terms, completely nailed the plot of the third movie.
Oof. And that movie was just oh gosh.
Yeah, I mean there were
Nightmare.
things that were
It was a nightmare.
entertaining about those movies, but the plot retread aspect of them just killed it. It just made the whole thing a waste.
Oh.
You know, unfortunate. They didn't have the guts to. This is again we talk about this a lot, and I know we've talked about it on AQ6. The idea that the big blockbuster movies. By the way, there's a series on Netflix. What's it called?
Can you be more specific?
Voir. You guys watch that?
No.
That's it.
How is that spelled?
EWA?
VOIRE.
Oh,
it's,
same thing.
it's an anthology. It's just individual shows where you have somebody who's in filmmaking talking about one aspect of the movies. And it's really good. I recommend it if you're a movie buff. You guys should watch it. But
Okay.
one of them was about how blockbusters both made and killed the movies.
Yeah.
You know that the. Shit, I
Oh,
gotta
Steve's on
take
call.
this.
Hold on.
I'm on call.
Can we hear
Oh,
Talk
the
amongst
yeah.
yourselves.
Are you gonna mute yourself, Steve?
Yep.
See,
Damn it.
He's muted.
I would
Okay,
love
let's
to.
let's pretend we're on the conversation.
I'm gonna
you
even
be
shut
Steve,
it
I'll
off.
be the patient.
No lip-
Oh,
Aw.
that
No
would have
lip
been great.
readers.
That would have been next
No
time. Next
lip
time.
readers.
That would have been great.
No,
I'm just gonna
Hey,
have to wait
Zero
for it to get my
creativity.
attention. Go ahead,
Anybody
Bob.
watching Super Crooks on Netflix?
No,
What
I
is
know
it?
nothing about that.
Saw a couple episodes. It's not bad. Interesting take. I like creative, original superhero powers.
Yeah.
So there's some of that in there. That's interesting. But and the gore is kind of cool too. So,
So
I've
let's
seen it.
go to
We
the
click-
next one, Ian.
Okay, here's the next one. Aha, Bob.
oh,
is this?
okay. So one of my priorities moving into my new house was to create my new witch bookcase display.
Ooh.
So
Let me full screenify it a bit.
so that's my, I just think it's a really cool looking bookcase. All sorts of creepy stuff.
What's funny about this is
Oh,
that
yeah.
it happened again. I was
Funny.
on Reddit and I'm scrolling through, and Halloween, the Halloween subreddit is on my list of Reddits that will automatically come up in my feed. And I
Mhm.
see this and I'm like, there is something so unbelievably familiar about this. It took me about 3 seconds and I'm like, oh my God, it's Bob again. Bob got, in my feed again.
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
Jay, you got to read some of the comments. The comments are wonderful.
Yeah, I'll go back
They're
and take a look.
they're just like so effusive. I love it. Of course.
Excuse me while I crack open my beer.
Yeah, I tried to
That's
add
not early.
Okay, well,
definitely. I tried to add more
it's 5 o'clock
It's not-
somewhere.
books
not
to it
beer.
because it is, it's in the library.
What I like to
The
do
library.
when I'm looking at like this type of set dressing, like because Bob and I we love to go to
Dressing.
haunted mansions and any kind of Halloween themed stuff we will go to, and I always like to pick out my favorite element. So Bob, what's my favorite thing on that whole bookshelf?
Your favorite thing?
Yeah, like if I
Bob's
were to
favorite
walk over,
thing, Jay's favorite thing on that bookshelf is
if I were to walk over to that bookshelf and just pick my object that I like the most, which one is it?
Well, that
uh,
you can't.
can't quite see all the details.
Perhaps the skull. You can't really see the skull, but that skull is so gorgeous. It's
Probably
it's
the
covered,
hand.
It's covered with runes, and so is the hand. It's covered.
The severed
it's like
hand, the monkey's paw.
It's like
or
a
whatever
zombie
it is.
hand that's covered in runes. Those are my
Yeah,
two.
that
my
one.
two favorite items.
That's like
on
a
there.
famous
But
thing.
Jay,
What do they
what
call
would
that thing?
your Jay's favorite?
Yeah, I'll just tell you so
Why
we
don't
don't
you
have
tell
dead
me,
air
not
for
the
10
skull?
minutes. The green
Oh, no.
hand, that hand that's
Yeah.
like below the halfway mark. in
The
the
hand.
middle.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are my
I know
two
you like
favorites.
the back of it, Jay.
It's cool.
So
though.
it's so cool, and
I appreciated that, Evan.
Oh, I
And
know
it-
they appreciate
that
it.
the skull is interesting because I had to put it
Obvious.
back together after it was broken. I was
Yeah, to
so
glue it back together.
but it's like a 3D puzzle, and it was an
Mhm.
awesome challenge. It was so interesting, and now you can barely tell that it broke.
Anything
somebody say
breakable
the-
is technically a puzzle.
Yeah, The Witcher is out, by the way.
The season 2 is out.
Yeah.
What?
Oh,
A new season of
dang.
Witcher?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So the stream is over. Thanks everybody for
Yeah.
watching.
Is
No,
that it?
but
We're
I
done?
am not watching it until I see season 1 again because I forgot so much of it.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. No spoilers, please.
Interesting.
All right, let's get to the next thing. There's a couple of interesting ones in here.
Yeah.
The
This
next
week.
thing, while Steve is busy doing his
the book. Wow,
console,
okay.
Saving
Here's
lives.
the-
Oh yeah, there's that
here's
book
the-
taking
again.
a call from his minion. Oh, here we go.
This is Evan.
Look at
That
this.
is some real.
That's a pilot over the Pacific who may have encountered something just a touch more alarming than turbulence.
There's a new sighting of some UFOs, and this one looks pretty good. So there is video from a plane that's flying 39,000 feet, and you just see 9 to 12 lights, evenly spaced out, moving at a very consistent speed.
Yeah, not quite, but yes. This is making the rounds on the internet. I don't know if you guys came across this independently.
I
or
did,
Having
yep.
shared it with you.
What's the skull about?
So I want to know what your thoughts are on what that could possibly be. I had some thoughts.
I
Yeah,
can
I
play
mean-
more of it too, but I just paused routinely.
Yeah, if you want to, if you can mute it and play it, because they're just the people that are talking on this show.
Yeah.
They're morons.
It's a rag magazine TV
God,
show.
now we're gonna get TMZ flack.
That's all
Whatever.
right.
What?
TMZ
Screw
fans are
him.
coming after us.
What's his name? That guy, Howard.
Who knows? Whatever. I know they're a little.
That guy. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're literally like hanging out. Like some of them are standing up, some of them are sitting down, and they're like, they're talking as if we know that UFOs exist and that aliens
course.
have visited the Earth. You know, like that's their starting point.
Of course, except I couldn't find the raw footage up on YouTube of it. I could only find it through the TMZ, which is where I first saw it anyways. So I figured I'll just send that. So those apparent lights, or what they think they are, and they had some, they said, oh, that's one woman said, oh, that's it's
They're flares.
these flares being dropped by an army, an Air Force plane or something, countermeasures. And another person on the show said, oh, it's a flock of birds, just flying in formation, and just kind of just spitballing, whatever. It's irrelevant. I want to know what you guys think it is. To me, it looks like almost a reflection of lights, right?
Yeah.
It's the same pattern, sort of spread out almost equally.
Yep.
And some fade out and fade in. It's almost like a reflection through the glass or something that he's taking the picture of some lights that are maybe in his background or something, right?
I totally thought that same thing.
That was my first thought, is that it's nothing except a reflection of something occurring on the interior of whatever plane they're in.
A couple of things in this particular video that were said, like he said, the pilots, and they're pilots, so they know like things they know all about things that are like flying, like giving this general comment, like pilots can't be fooled, right?
The argument from authority.
Yeah, which is complete, as we know, over and over and over again. That is complete bullshit. Holds zero water. But where was this shot from? Is this shot from the cockpit? Is this shot
over California? And yes, it must have been from the cockpit, assuming the pilot was not somewhere else in the cabin. But
well, that makes sense then, because if it's in the cockpit, there's lots of lights in a cockpit.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of points of light in a cockpit. I wonder what kind of plane they were in. I mean, it would be interesting to talk to a pilot who flies the type of plane that they're in, that knows the cockpit so well that they could say, yeah, there's a row of lights that are right over the guy's head, something like that.
And the exterior condition, I think, play into this too. Look, it's sunset, right? It's dusk or dawn, whatever. And whereas you're at the point of transition where you would be able to more clearly see lights reflected, say, that would be emanating from the cockpit if it were, say, dark outside, as opposed to if it were totally light or daytime outside, which would absorb some of that.
You'd never see it. You wouldn't even see it. Yeah,
you probably wouldn't see it. So I think a lot of people are basically commenting that they're thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I just, I think a lot of us, like, we look at quote unquote reporting, or can't even call it news, but you have like this TMZ and they're all talking about it and they're all like, you could feel them building the drama, right?
Of course.
Because this is what sells, right? So
of course, it's all a show.
I'm just so disgusted with these faux news stations and this type of bullshit discussion. It's like, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Not a single one of you has any credentials whatsoever to even open your mouth, right? It's like, just shut up and stop this bullshit. Like, UFOs. Yeah,
I mean, at least they're commenting on something,
I think Steve is
benign, as opposed to health claims
Hey there.
or something. Oh, hey, Steve, how'd that go?
Yeah.
Minions all okay?
the UFOs or not?
we were just
What's that?
complaining about this UFO video that TMZ was like completely buying into, like that these are UFOs.
What, the flares?
Not even flares, we don't think.
Yeah, we think it's a reflection.
It could be. I noticed
in
that
the
they
cockpit,
were like
right?
in sync, like they were exact duplicates of each other.
Yeah.
Mhm, right.
Yeah.
Yes, they're spaced out almost perfectly. It's an artifact. It's a reflection at best.
Yeah, somebody said in this video, like, why didn't the pilot fly closer and take a better look?
Yeah.
And like, just that comment alone, like, really? Like, you actually think that that's even a possibility, that a pilot is going to like suddenly veer a plane?
What kind
full
of plane was it? Was this a commercial airliner? No. Was it a military jet with one pilot? Sure.
Right, of course. But I think it was an air, it was a plane full of
Commercial jet.
people.
Yeah, I think
Um,
it was commercial.
Yeah, you can't just veer off course.
Yeah, no,
Right.
no sudden
That's-
movements at 39,000 feet. You're not going to like all of a sudden like choose to fly over towards an unknown. Like, if you actually think it's something, of course you're not going to fly towards it. You stay away from it. If anything.
Right.
But just for full disclosure, if you don't know what TMZ is, it's like it's a video magazine effectively for Hollywood and celebrities and stuff, and that's their forte. You know, they send people out there to shoot, you know, whatever, Gwyneth Paltrow walking down the street and getting her comment on whatever, and then they air it in their magazine. So that's the level kind. You know, it's tabloid, total
Yeah, it's
tabloid.
tabloid. Yeah.
And paparazzi kind of.
All right, let's move on to the next amazing thing that Bob found.
The book.
There's that. Oh, this is awesome. You got to see this full screen.
Let me zoom in a little bit.
I mean,
I don't think there's any audio on it, but
depth is amazing. Like the
I can already see the shading is so amazing.
She was.
Damn, look at that.
But the full effect is just
powerful illusion.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
I didn't find this, Jay. You must have found it.
Yeah, I found this one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I know she's going to be. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, look at that.
But now look how
so good.
She nailed it. She totally nailed that character.
Creepy. Wonderful.
It's like her face disappears in that makeup. I mean, of course, you know,
incredible, man.
You have to have a complete black background to really make the effect work.
Right.
But I love that. I love those, you know, the people that are like, you know, make themselves expert at that 3D illusion of making their body like completely look different with makeup. It's awesome. It's really awesome.
Clever. Love clever people.
You got something else for me, Ian?
Into the thick of it. Into the thick of it. Into the thick of it. Ugh.
Yeah. Okay. So, Boston
I would
Dynamics
totally do
robot kind of thing.
Sorry,
with Backyardigans music playing over it, Ian.
But the guy, somebody put a dog head on there, like, and it looked like it was moving a little bit. And I'm wondering, like, if this is a thing, like an aftermarket thing or whatever.
I think there's a couple of them. I mean, I think the schematics for the Boston Dynamics one is available, but this one doesn't look like that one. Those are only 75,000. You know, we can get one.
Oh my God, they gotta have it lift its leg up so it could pee.
That little one is 75 grand.
No. The actual Boston Dynamics one.
Yeah.
The big dog.
Like nuts and bolts.
Yeah.
But that, you know, when I saw that video, I'm like, all right, you know, it could be just someone joking around, or it legit could be someone that's kind of treating that thing like a pet. You know, I mean, I know it doesn't have programming to like have any kind of, you know, connectivity with humans or whatever, but like that guy walked the thing, you know, like
it's happening.
Yeah, the world is changing.
Dogs and cats living together.
Total chaos.
Mass hysteria. Okay.
Oh
here we
yeah.
go.
Mass hysteria.
This one is just ridiculous.
What's happening?
So this is a river going through a town.
A river of plastic.
Yeah, and when you look at this, and you see that slowly chugging, and like, what the hell are we doing to our planet? Like, it's disgusting. This is really like, how could anybody that's in a position of power in any government see that and not like immediately fully embrace the idea that we've got to change what we're doing?
Mm-hmm. Well,
there's no money.
Yeah, I agree. It should be happening. Doesn't happen for a bevy of reasons.
I think I read in the comments that's
all sorts.
That city is one of the it's like one of the biggest creators of like plastic garbage. It's like second, like
where was that? Was it India?
I forget. I don't think so. No, it wasn't.
Let me find the link. I just pulled
because I've seen some photographs and videos of
Yeah,
places like in Haiti on their beaches and stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know why those places aren't declared off limits to
Indonesia,
humans.
apparently.
Indonesia. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you know, but this is when you go, all right, so there you have it. You saw that video.
We're doing something wrong.
So,
yeah,
you know,
systematically
at what point,
wrong.
this is just like guns in the United States. At what point will people change their minds? And the answer is never. Because if you're seeing that and it's and we're not, you know, changing our behavior, you know, like we had, you know, like not to click over to the guns thing, but you know, lots of children are dying in this country every year by gun violence in schools. There was literally a threat to, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but there was on TikTok, it probably was, quote unquote, a gag or whatever, but there was like a threat for the entire United States that there was going to be gun violence in schools across the United States today.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Even elementary schools.
Yeah. So, it makes you lose like street cred with humanity. You're just like, okay, I guess we're okay with this now, right? We're just going to, the people that run the planet are going to freaking allow plastic rivers to exist. And what? Like what's the end? What's the end point to plastic polluting our world? And I hate asking this same question again, but how many kids have to get murdered a mile from where they live before we decide that, there's a problem with guns in this country?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like,
yeah, but
we've talked about that.
politicized.
We've discussed it's huge and it's complicated and quite nuanced.
I know. I totally agree, Ev. And the
problem is we can't have a rational discussion about it.
That's it.
Right?
There is no rational
discussion.
discussion.
It's so politically polarized that, like, even bringing it up, some people will dismiss you as a woke lib, or if you say, well, wait a minute, we have to, balance this with Second Amendment rights, then you're a right-wing gun nut or whatever. Like, there's no middle ground anymore. Like, where's the middle ground of let's just come up with a way of making things better while balancing different imperatives and concerns. But
make it better. How about allowing government, federal, government institutions allow them to study, to do research on it?
Yeah, I know.
Right now they can't even do research.
Hey, we have members of Congress in the United.
Unacceptable.
We have members of Congress in the United States, like Mitch McConnell. Look, and I am not a fan of either party, and we're not going to. I don't want to get into this discussion again. But Mitch McConnell said, I am going to be obstructionist to whatever the Democrats want. Like, they're not even hiding it, right? We've been saying this for years now. They're not even hiding it. Like, you're saying that your platform is that you're anti the other party. That's not the way politics works, right? That's called a logjam. That's called nothing gets done. And
no, I mean, definitely politics in the U.S. are in a very dysfunctional,
pretty broken right now.
Yep.
And when you have a two-party system, a binary choice, effectively, it's really makes it just the inherent nature of it makes a lot of things impossible.
And somebody in the chat said, and Pelosi defended insider trading, which I agree. Yeah, you're right.
There's problems on both sides.
Did she do that?
She did. She said it's okay for the senators should be able to buy, stocks and do whatever they want with their money. It's like, no, but we're talking
They're
about
allowed to use
corruption.
The information that they gain from their roles that they serve in Congress in order to make whatever stock trades they want and not be held accountable as an insider, as breaking insider trading laws. Yeah,
it feels like there's context that we're missing there.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
There very well might be, but we
just have to be careful. That sounds like a superficial level version of that story. I would not even talk about it until we know what we're talking about.
Yeah, you're right, Steve. I know, but I read the same thing. I did read some details about it, and I'm like, oh, really? Okay, like we should be doing everything we can to strip out corruption out of our government, and it's like,
absolutely.
Yeah, but it takes the people who are in control of making the laws to make the laws to strip the corruption. That's a major problem.
So I read an article. I think it was in Scientific American this week. It was this week. I'm doing research for the show. I'm trying to find some news items. And I read an article that essentially says that humanity's not going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
That we are on a quite obvious trajectory where...
What does that mean?
The sixth extinction are they talking about?
Yeah, it basically means like the idea is, we're not even close to like creating an environment where our species is going to make it. Like we're in a spiral here. Like things are not getting better as we get more powerful, as there's more ability to do things, as humanity expands its ability to do things. We become more corrupt and more screwed up, and we do bad things with our power.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think
make
that observation
to be defined.
What, Steve?
I just think you need to define what it means by "quote unquote" make it. Like, is he saying that we're going to go extinct as a species? I think you can't. That's ridiculous, in my opinion. I think we can screw things up so that they suck really bad.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
And cause a lot of devastation and death along the way.
Sure.
But not
sure.
pure
I
extinction.
think there could be collapse of democracies, collapse of the international, liberal order. There could be lots of things can go to hell, and it'll just suck for a long time.
Yeah, we'll have a new dark age. It'll be a new dark age. Maybe that's a more accurate way.
I try to stay away from doomsday type thinking, but I look back and I just see things. I see things like this. I see what's changed in the last 20 years, and we've had amazing technological advancements, in medicine and in all sorts of things. We have the internet and cell phones and all sorts of connectivity and everything. And it's like we're getting choked out by our own technology. Like social media is choking us out.
Yeah.
And it's pretty pathetic.
It's got issues.
I have a visitor.
Who is that?
What's going on, Dylan? I can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
No, you
Dylan
can't
break.
have your iPad.
Dad, you literally said if I didn't go in, I could get my iPad.
That's right, Dylan.
You
You
can
correct
watch
him.
a show on
remember talking to my
TV, but
dad
you're not.
Olivia's watching some.
So did you guys finish the conversation about blockbuster movies?
Please.
Disciplining his child.
Not quite.
So what I was about to say was that, like when Jaws came out, Jaws, as you guys remember, that was the first summer blockbuster.
Summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
Was Jaws.
The blockbuster.
And it really changed American movie scene. Of course, then the blockbusters, every movie company then began chasing the blockbuster, which was great. I mean, so we were kids, and the summer blockbuster movies
they were
awesome.
epic.
Yeah. But they started to pursue a narrow demographic. Again, fortunately for us, we were in that narrow demographic, so it was great for a while for us. But it eventually, the part of the problem was they just kept trying to do the same thing over and over again. Recapture that magic.
Marvel Universe. Excuse me.
Yeah, they're just very risk averse, and the idea of doing something new or or experimental or at all risky is just not in when you get to the highest levels of the executives, like, no, let's just, that worked, let's just do that.
Right.
Again with a
What
twist.
will sell
or
tickets
whatever.
and what will sell the merchandise.
Yeah.
It became a formula for that.
But the problem is I think this is the inherent problem, is that when something is super successful, it's usually because it was new. And
novelty.
They did something new. And then you can't replicate that by doing the same thing again,
Yeah.
by definition. So they think, well, Star Wars was successful, so let's do it again. That's clearly what people want. It's like, no, we want something new. It's not new anymore. You can't give it to us again.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
That's right. How many times do I have to see the freaking White House blow up in a movie?
Yeah.
We already have it. That's the point. The point is we've already been given that. It's already in front of us. Like, I don't know. I don't get that, Steve.
You got to give us something else.
Right.
Like all of the movies that change things up and that are like defined a generation, all that stuff. It's because it did something freaking new. Like you think about The Matrix. And again, this is the funny part of like watching all these movies again with my kids, is you realize like they'll watch Jaws or they'll watch The Matrix or they'll watch whatever. It's like, no, you don't realize this was the first movie that established.
You said that, yeah.
Now to them, it's a trope. It's a trope because everyone's trying to copy them. Right? That's the fact that they're so familiar with a movie they've never seen is emblematic of the problem. It's because it's been copied over and over again, and in a way that kind of has destroyed the movies. Like, so the blockbuster was great, but it also, it's a prison. And so that's why, like, even we get to the point where like we're just sick. I say, I don't want to watch another fucking superhero movie or
I do
another giant robot movie or whatever.
I do.
Only if they're good. It's like, like we watched The Boys. The Boys is a great superhero series because it was different.
Yeah.
But
when's the new season coming back?
I don't know.
What the hell, man? Somebody look that up.
Yeah, I mean, of course, Steve. This is it's like pop culture has been very repetitive.
Mhm.
I'm dying to go to the movies and be wowed in the theater. You know what I mean? Like when we were kids, like everything was so, we had years of like endless awesome movies in the 80s, like there was just so much stuff going on back then. But look, TV today is awesome.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah, it's a
Like
golden age, man.
It is fantastic, and I think it's
Do
better
you guys
than the
remember
movies.
what the first cinematic TV series was? So it's the same thing where there was this one series that raised the bar for TV.
It wasn't Sopranos. It was before Sopranos. What?
No, it was Sopranos.
It was Sopranos.
It was Sopranos.
It was The Sopranos. That was the one that was like really changed the game for like HBO, obviously, and for cable TV, and we are living in a golden age of TV because of The Sopranos, basically.
I was thinking Babylon 5 as well.
Yeah, but Babylon 5 was
Mike
it did what
Buckley
Babylon
just said
5
that.
broke out of was making it
An arc. I mean, this was a
it was
planned
creating
arc.
a plot arc,
Right.
where it wasn't just a serialized show where at the end of every episode you're back to where you were at the beginning of the episode,
Right.
and nothing ever changes.
And they're rebooting that. They're rebooting it.
Wow.
Oh my God.
I mean, that could use a reboot only because it was pre-Sopranos, so it was very. It's very interesting to look at the difference between how movies look and how TV shows look, and what the differences are. And again, that's what really The Sopranos changed. That the first ones who did a TV show that had the cinematic features of a movie.
Yeah.
And so if you go back to anything before that, where the storyline is really good, but it didn't reach its potential because it was just a TV show, and now it could be done in a way that is 10 times better. Like the reboot of Battlestar Galactica, right up until the last episode, it was awesome.
Except for that.
Caveat.
Yeah. It was very, very good. Just you can't compare the two.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed that show. I'm trying to forget like these bad season enders thing that seems to be. I don't know. I guess it's really hard to end a long-standing TV show where you don't feel kind of gypped. But that Game of Thrones and Battlestar Galactica were both awesome. They were very much like suck you in. But the last two times I went into the theater to see a movie, I was completely disappointed. Like Black Widow.
Yeah, that was just okay. Very forgettable.
They
got your money though.
Which one?
I just thought Black Widow was pretty poor. I like her a lot. I think she does the character very well. I just thought the writing was uninspired.
Yeah, it was uninspired. But that's what I'm saying.
SG1?
It was like another Marvel superhero movie. It's not enough anymore. I don't want just another one. It's got to be something about it that it has some value added.
Yeah.
Ian,
did we have any more? I forget what we sent you.
No, that was everything, I believe.
Let's do Evan's puzzle.
Who's that?
All right, so Evan, I noticed that those numbers are very close to each other, but slightly different.
Slightly different. That's correct.
And I know that they're in the range. They're in a certain range of numbers that I'm familiar with.
When you say range, good.
Yeah,
You're on
like
the right track.
The height of certain mountains in feet.
Yeah, perhaps
Would be my
you're
guess.
right. Yeah, the old 29029 up here.
Sounds like Mount Everest, right?
Does sound like Mount Everest. It is Mount Everest. That is
There you
considered
go.
the average measurement height of Everest because
Right.
I had to explain to someone in the chat, they thought it was 29034, which is what I thought too. But apparently, depending on the measurement techniques you make, there's a variance there, and this is the average. And the source is Wikipedia. But how about these other numbers? This 25801 and the 27940.
What are the next two highest peaks? I forget.
Yeah, so maybe K2.
Depends what you mean by highest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Well, base to peak.
Base to peak. Well, let's have a look. Let's see what Wikipedia tells us. Number one, Mount Everest. That is. K2 would be the next one at 28251.
But
okay, well, let's take a look. No, that's not on the board. Wonder what that means.
So these are all peaks in the same range?
Ooh, yeah.
Okay,
Everest has a few companions that are up in the
Okay.
that are joining them up there.
But
So
you-
what are the names of the other peaks?
I openly admit I have no idea.
I
never
didn't
thought
know.
about it.
Right. Very
I
few
know,
people know.
right?
Mount Everest and Beverest.
Mount nearest and farthest.
Furthest.
Not quite. Who was it? It was Y Ramus from the Discord channel, a patron of ours. Thank you so much for being a patron.
There you go.
Got the closest guess because he said, I think he said they have a friend who's either currently on the Everest path or recently went up Everest or was going to, maybe not the summit, but some sort of Everest related adventure. And he knew that these were the ranges of the three mountains that are close to each other. The 27940 is called, and I hope I pronounced this right, is it Lhotse, Lhotse? The E is silent, I believe, Lhotse. And the other one is named Nuptse, Nuptse, Nuptse.
Nuptse. Okay.
So these are the three peaks in that range, and Lhotse is the 4th highest peak on the planet, and Nuptse is the 20th highest peak on the planet. And they actually have photographs online in which you can see all three of these together in the same shot.
Cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
I learned something because it's funny how you hear about Mount Everest and it's like the pop culture mountain. You hear about it, everybody hears about it. I didn't even know that there was other peaks that were even close to where Everest is. They're not that, 27.9 to 29 is not that far off.
No, it's not. And I was also apparently reading that some people will do all three. Apparently it's considered the triple crown of mountain climbing. If you do all three as part of the same climb, because again, these are relatively close enough together that you could make them all as part of the same adventure.
Wow.
From what I've read. So I may or may not be, I may have misread or misunderstood what I was reading, but that's what I read.
So did somebody climb all three, I think within 24 hours? I think I saw it.
Yes, and I did see a graphic on that as well, Bob. Someone or
That's
several
nuts.
people have done all three in a very short time span, within a day.
Wow.
So
Impressive.
yesterday, Steve and I did a huge amount of physical labor. We had to basically throw away the entire Star Trek set piece that was in the studio.
Well, throw it away.
Well, yeah, because it was, we took it out of the studio to put the green screens in,
Right.
and it was essentially in his backyard. Like there's like an area there, like there's a sliding door or whatever. It was back there, and we just couldn't. I don't know what happened. It's been there for quite a while. We had to clean it up, so we cleaned out the whole thing. So we did put it finally to bed. Like it's gone. All of that stuff.
Brought in a dumpster and hauled it all into the dumpster?
Yeah, we did.
In a dumpster, yeah.
And knowing your terrain, Steve, I know that's not an easy task. You have
No, it's a lot of climbing uphill.
Yeah. Did you use a wheelbarrow or something?
For part of it.
Yeah.
For the small
For the
stuff, the
smaller
big stuff had
yeah.
to be hand carried. The big thing that we moved, though, it's a it's a steel tube that's filled with concrete that you use as a support beam, right? It's like you see them in garages and basements a lot, right? So Steve and I had to move one of those, and those things are so unbelievably heavy. Like any longer, and I don't think we could have carried it because it's filled with. It's a tube of concrete and steel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Should have called. I mean, if you had called me, I'd have come over and helped you guys.
That's what Steve's basement puked up, right? After he got the real beam.
Oh yeah.
Oh
definitely.
yes. Yeah.
But I'm a little sad. It was a little sad throwing that stuff away.
It was. I mean, that stuff was built in. Ooh, God, did we have that set for the 24-hour show? Which
Yes,
was
we
10 years ago.
Yeah,
we did that 24-hour show 10 years ago.
2012.
So
Wow.
that set is 11 years old.
Yeah, it served its purpose.
It got decommissioned.
Got a decade out of it. Then we upgraded to the green screen studio. So
it was a totally worth it upgrade. It's letting us do a lot. But I mean, I was very attached to that set piece. I adored that thing. I just loved it.
Does anybody in chat not remember that physical set piece? I wonder. Is anybody new enough not to remember the actual physical set?
Oh, we must have archive footage of it. It's got
ton. I mean,
I'm just wondering if anybody is like
any of the listeners.
If you're a patron, you can go on Patreon and our thank you video that we did once you become a patron, it is in that studio, and you get a very good look at at the Star Trek console. I wish I could have, if I had room in my basement, something like that.
I know,
I could've
preserve
kept
it, but
yeah, it's a bummer. But that's progress. We got to say goodbye to certain things.
It was always
Yep.
fun whenever like repairmen came over the house to check. They had to check the meter or the fuse box or the water or whatever. They'd go down the basement. It was like, whoa, what do you got down here?
What are you
I'd,
doing
walk
down
into
here?
the-
I get that
the
all
turbo
the time. I
encapsulator.
get that all the
Yeah,
time.
Bob
man.
still
Now
gets
you have
that.
a giant
Bob.
green room. So
God, are those
You do
corpses
it?
over there?
Ian?
Yeah.
no, I said now you have a giant green room. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's also
kind of
it's
a
also
similar, like, oh, okay,
Yeah, it's true, but less so than the
less,
than the
yeah, slightly
console.
yeah, because they have to use their
Um,
imagination then.
Oh,
Someone asked why we didn't offer it here, to which I say we
did.
did. We totally did. We said we are taking this out of the studio.
Come
If
pick
you
it
want
up.
it, got to get it fast because it's not going to last for long outside. We have no other
Mhm.
choice.
Yeah.
So we did what we did.
So I remember
I did make a planter out of some of the wood. I made a recycled wood planter. It's on my deck.
and this is going back now to the movie discussion in a way, because when I remember distinctly, Star Trek 3, the movie, right?
Mhm.
What was that? Search for Spock. I mean, in the movies, right? Watching it, the first 10 minutes they talk about the decommissioning, right, of the Enterprise.
Yeah.
Right. It was part of the plot. They're gonna get rid of it, and the collective groan that came out of the audience when they made that announcement: there will be no refitting of Enterprise. Everyone went, boo! And they all booed and they hissed and they hated that moment. So that reminded me of that moment.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big for a brand to essentially decommission the ship, which is so central to that storyline. That ship is so freaking important. Yeah, of course, they were going to get that reaction. But even still, like how many times can they retrofit, an old frame, when the technology is lurching forward,
That's right.
That was one of my frustrations, though, with the Star Trek movies. It's like every single movie, the Enterprise was either blown up or crippled, or like, you know what I mean? Like it was never fully functional.
Yeah,
in
Yeah,
any of
I
those
always
movies.
hated that. That was always annoying
It's like, come
when
on,
that happened.
you
It's
know,
like, come on, I want to see it
Even
at
Wrath
peak,
of Khan.
peak performance for at least a little while. Do some dramatic stuff
Yeah, but
towards the end, but let me see it perform first.
Yeah, I didn't feel that in Wrath of Khan though, which is my favorite Star Trek movie.
Well, but the Enterprise did got hit right away.
It got
in
hit
Wrath
with
of
no
Khan.
shields up. That's
Right.
right. That's why it got
It was crippled.
pulverized.
Wrath of Khan was like really the only good Star Trek movie. It was a good one. There was a couple of ones that were all right. I like
Right.
the Undiscovered Country was okay.
Yeah, I like
but,
that.
Yeah.
but there wasn't a single one of them that was great.
Yeah.
That was a great movie.
Final Frontier.
It was just different levels of fan service. What was that, Evan?
Yeah.
Final Frontier. Star Trek 5. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Just
Horrible.
terrible.
Nightmarish stuff. Nightmarish
Yeah, the one with the
stuff.
whales was the worst.
Let's
Ooh,
cue up the
that's
quiz.
four.
We'll continue
What?
talking.
The
but
Voyage Home?
We'll cue that quiz up.
Oh, it
That was
wasn't the
bad.
worst.
I thought 5 was
God,
the worst.
no.
5 was worse than 4.
Maybe.
all right.
I mean, Coming Home. What was the one with the whales? Coming Home? Wait.
It was
Journey
yeah,
Home.
Voyage Home, number
Voyage
4.
Home.
Voyage
That
Home.
that was crazy popular, man. I don't think you would have had other sequels if that didn't do great.
It's irrelevant.
I remember liking it in the movie, but like when you look back on
It
it,
was
it's
crazy
so-
popular.
It was too jokey.
I mean,
You know what
think
I
about
mean?
this. If we're chilling at home and you want to watch a movie, are you going to pop in one of those old Star Trek movies
No.
and watch it again?
I just watched Wrath of
Maybe
Khan like
Wrath
2
of
weeks
Khan,
ago.
but that
Yeah,
would be
Wrath
it.
of Khan. Wrath of
That
Khan
would
is the
be
one you
it.
might watch. Other than Wrath of Khan, are you going to watch any of those other movies?
Yeah, but
I
that
don't
doesn't
think
mean
so.
that Voyage Home was a waste of money. I think it helped support the
I didn't
whole
say it was. I
Enterprise.
just said it wasn't a great movie.
I'm just saying that I'm glad it still was there because Steve, I remember watching it with you. We enjoyed it, dude. We fucking enjoyed it.
Because we are Star Trek fanatics.
Right. I don't care. Yeah. So, but we enjoyed
But
it.
they weren't great movies. None of them were great movies.
Yep.
That's my
I agree. I agree. But we enjoyed the crap
We're
out of
getting
it.
some
There's
feedback.
a lot of
some
movies we
kickback
walked
on
out
that.
of and we loved it, and we look back now and we cringe.
Might be the hottest take
Totally
yet.
cringe.
We have some disagreements. I like.
We
this.
also
Okay.
liked Total Recall when we saw it, and it's a piece of crap.
Yeah, but Total
I'm the
Recall
exception
came
to that
back though,
one.
Steve, because it's so
Come on.
bad.
It
that it's-
it went through bad into campy.
Yeah.
But that
Right.
doesn't mean it's
Oof.
bad. It's not bad.
I
But
mean,
it was
like
watchable.
Starship Troopers kind of
Starship
quality
Troopers.
bad. No, that's
Starship
about what I
Troopers
equate
is
it to.
legit
Yeah, but-
good.
Starship Troopers was made to be campy.
Right. It's
Because it's
good.
based on a comic or something.
It
Right?
was.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
It's
Starship
actually
Troopers?
good. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
had elements that I didn't hate.
But I had zero expectation. That helps. But I've only seen it once in the theater. Never went back and saw it again. Which Yeah,
And remember,
Come on.
this was Starship Troopers was in the day. We loved that crap because think about it. That was
It
like
was-
that was one of the first movies with real massive CG.
Yeah.
And of course they use the low hanging fruit because
the
they
insects.
use
Yeah.
insects with exoskeletons, which are a lot easier to animate with primitive CG
Sure.
than a human or something with flesh. And
Yeah.
we loved it, man. We loved it. And you're right. I haven't seen it in 30 years either. And it probably wouldn't hold up, but there's some good actors in that. I would watch that again because at the very least, just to see how it
I
aged
wouldn't
and
turn it
to
off
see
if somebody
Neil
else was watching
Patrick
it.
Harris, man. Neil Patrick
Yeah.
Harris.
So,
Well,
but
Wasn't
think
it all
about it. Come on, think-
allegory anyway? Starship Troopers, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of about
Yeah, it's like a
military industrial
propaganda film,
complex.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, which itself is kind of low hanging fruit. But
Right.
come on, there are movies like there are
True.
movies I will see once a year, and there are other movies that
Mhm.
I will see
Right.
every couple or few years. Like I will watch Lord of the Rings whenever I get the chance. I'll watch it. I'll watch any of the first
2001 Lord of the Rings.
three, 4, 5, 6 Star Wars movies. Whenever somebody wants to watch it, sure, I'll watch it. Come, pop it in there. 2001, I watch every few years. Now, those are great movies. These other movies, they got the job done, and they were okay at the time. We enjoyed them, and I'd never watch it again. And who cares? Like they're forgettable.
Yeah.
They're throwaway.
Very
movies.
forgettable. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. Timeless is tough, man. That's tough.
it is tough. But I don't know. Here's the problem: how come it's so rare that you combine a great, writer, great director, everything, making a timeless, high quality movie with a super popular genre franchise? Why do these franchises? Why are they the really super popular and money generating franchise crank out shit? Why
Yeah.
aren't they? Why don't we ever get a really awesome Star Trek movie?
I
or
don't
really-
know, Steve. Good question. I mean, it's got to be
Fair.
be corporate politics and all that nonsense. It's got
But
to
it's
be.
frustrating.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, you look at what happened to Star Wars and the train wreck
Yeah.
of Star Wars, a brand that could have become 10 times better than it originally
Mhm.
was.
Mm-hmm.
Just the right writing. I mean, I know everyone doesn't love The Mandalorian, but I look at The Mandalorian and I'm like, okay, finally somebody gets at least somebody gets
Yeah.
the brand. at this
Mandalorian's
point.
great.
It
It's
is great.
Yeah.
But it's sad that it took this long for them to find someone that actually gets the brand and then to put their confidence in that person.
Right.
to
How
make
many
content.
failures did it take to get to the point in which they figured out what early works? It's a shame. A lot of time and effort
Totally.
sadly sunk.
Totally right, Evan.
Ian, do we have a link for our
Yeah, let's do this.
quiz?
So
yes.
while we're queuing this up, so at 7:00 Eastern time tonight, so basically just under an hour from now, I will be speaking for the Canberra Skeptics.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to canberraskeptics.org if you're interested. There's gonna be some kind of discussion, interview, or whatever happening tonight. I've been very much looking forward to it. And that's it. So if you want to go to their website, and it's going to start, in less than an hour.
Wow.
There you go. There's the link for the game. It's darkenergy.games. There should be a link in the chat previously. I'll post another one. Let me see here. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Darkenergy.games. Go ahead, everybody. Okay.
Okay.
That's MD Dawson City. What? Shout out. Very good.
Okay, I've entered the game.
Shout out.
Somebody said they really liked Cowboy Bebop. Well, it ain't coming back.
Oh.
I watched a bunch of those episodes. It was fun. I mean, it's it's
Good.
definitely a comic book style. I'm talking about the
yeah.
live. There's a live
Yeah.
version and an animated version. I haven't watched the animated version yet. That might be better. The live version.
It
Okay.
is, but it's
What?
older.
Yeah.
It's I mean, it's cool.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's cool. The live
There's
one
the
was
stuff
good.
that I watch like when I'm eating lunch and I just want a 20-minute mind candy thing while I'm taking a break.
Yeah.
So I always need something like that teed up. So that's what I've been watching recently during my I want to turn my mind off for 20 minutes phase.
A lot of people said Arcane is good on Netflix.
Arcane's
Yes, it
awesome.
Yeah.
Fucking
Arcane is
rocks.
awesome.
Watch it.
Again, because it's
Right
different.
now.
It's different than anything else I've seen.
Leave the
animation
stream right
is
now and go watch
incredible.
it.
What?
Animation's incredible.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I want more. I want more.
I loved it.
All right,
I even looked for props.
let's synchronize everybody.
Mad
Okay.
props.
Here we go. And when I say click, everybody click the synchronize button. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, click.
I did it.
0 seconds.
Good. Very good. Very good.
2 more seconds.
For seconds.
Mhm.
All right. To do better than my 20% from last week.
I'm hungry.
Get in my belly.
Tomorrow, boys, we're gonna have rice lasagna.
Yep.
Is that an invitation?
No, we're having
You're welcome. We're doing
pre-Christmas because we're gonna be split up. So we have to we pick a day. when
Oh,
we're all
right,
gonna be
right,
in
right.
town. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to interrupt on your family stuff, so I'll just come for an eat and leave. So I'm good.
It's at Jay's house. I don't care, Evan. Although, again, just as a sign that we're still in the midst of freaking COVID,
I know.
Yeah.
Jay's son was exposed to a classmate who tested positive.
Oh, they send everyone home.
So, but he's fully vaccinated.
Good.
And, so now he's 2 days out. He's going to be like 3 days out from the exposure. He tested negative, but it wasn't long enough delay. So it's like, all right, so what do we do here? What's the protocol? So it's like everyone's fully vaccinated, but there was an exposure. So you're supposed to do like just mask and social distancing until you're 5 days out and test negative, or you do a full 2 weeks,
Mhm.
of quarantine. But everything it might get revised when Omicron really starts to hit on all cylinders.
Jay,
Right.
did you see this? Sorry, did you see this message about your talk changing to Monday at 6?
No.
Is that for
Okay.
real?
Maybe
joke?
check your emails. It tastes like. All right, sorry.
It's not changing to Monday. Somebody's just messing with me.
Oh, okay. Wow, chat. Okay. Somebody's getting banned in 3, 2.
Someone's
sorry,
pulling a
Steve.
prank on me.
Charlie.
All right. Is everybody
Let's
got
do
enough
it.
people in the game?
I'm ready to play.
Yeah, I think we're good. All right.
Let's play.
Let's play your
Away.
game, you rogue.
And away we go. How many films have Al Pacino and Robert De Niro appeared in together?
Ooh.
Is it 3, 4, 5, or 6? 3, 4.
Now, when we say together, do we mean in the same movie?
No,
In the
yeah.
same movie.
Yeah.
But not necessarily together in the same scene.
Right.
Right.
That's how I'm interpreting
It
it.
says
Yeah, but
films, not scenes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
Yeah. That would be harder. Yeah, like
One,
Marty asked. I'll say
2,
in the
3. All right, I know of
film
3.
total.
It's at least 3.
At least 3, but no more than 6.
That's of no help whatsoever.
Scenes. This will probably not go
Oh,
out
so
fast
close.
enough, but whatever.
So
The
yeah, of
answer
course you were
is
so close.
4.
Everyone's so close.
Does
What are
anybody
the
wanna
movies?
Guess, does anybody want to guess the movies? Go ahead. You got 20 seconds.
It's,
Godfather.
Godfather 2.
Godfather
That's right.
2.
Very
Heat.
good. Yep, very good.
The
And
heck's
one
the
other one.
There's 2. It's not Godfather 1 was
Wait.
not one of the answers.
No, he wasn't Godfather. Yeah, that's right. He
No,
was
no,
Oh, Al
no,
He-
Pacino. Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
no
Wait.
time left. It's Righteous Kill and The Irishman.
The Irishman, of course. Yes,
Whew.
yes.
What is the capital of New Zealand? You can't answer this if you're from New Zealand. Is it Christchurch, Auckland, Tauranga, or Wellington?
Welly.
Welly. Oh gosh. Deeply programmed.
I know, right? We can't help ourselves.
So deeply programmed.
It's amazing. Like when I'm researching these quiz questions, like just how much information I don't know.
I've been to all 4 of these places.
Yeah. No, I knew this one, but like the vast majority of the things that I look up, I have no idea what the answers are.
Easy.
Take it easy. Don't skin the octopus just yet.
These Kiwis know it. Kiwiland. Yes, the answer is Wellington.
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 Do you guys remember us
Like the
driving
beef.
past the Capitol building in Wellington?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
Road
do.
trip? Yeah.
Yep.
What was it called? The Beehive or something like that?
Was it?
That I don't.
Well, there was a government building called the
Oh.
Beehive. I recall that. So that's why.
Chat, confirm, please.
Swellington. Somebody
Swellington.
Oh, Christchurch is one word. They're all yelling at you, Jay.
I know. I thought that was wrong.
said. That wasn't my fault.
Yeah, it was totally me. What does IPA stand for? Is it Indian Pale Ale, International Pale Ale, Infusion Pitch Alcohol, insoluble pasteurized alcohol? Insoluble. It's okay, Josh.
I mean,
Not
I'm
the-
sure.
not-
I'm
it's not the-
sure that somebody knows the answer out there.
It's not the Irish Popular Army. No.
Close.
Wait, Bruce Press said none of the above. Bruce, what do you know that I don't know?
Technically, yes, it's not correct. I think it's India Pale Ale. Is that correct?
I
Not
believe
Indian Pale Ale?
that would be correct.
I mean,
Oh, that doesn't
That would-
count then.
That's what I guess.
I mean, yeah.
multiple
correct
sites
guess?
had it wrong then.
Close
So,
enough, you know. Hey,
wow.
close enough.
Well, thank you for the correction, Bruce. The
The
You
answer
win
none
our
of the
special
above.
prize for finding the secret wrong answer.
That's
Mhm.
right. You found the Easter egg in this week's episode. Congratulations.
I personally hate IPAs,
You
but
win a
that's just me.
new car. Next one is, what is the most common color of toilet paper in France? Is it
I've never been
white,
in France.
Pink, blue, or tan? Disregard the fact that these words are in English, as they should be in French, I guess.
Right.
It's
White
really
is
blue.
Blanc, right?
Yeah.
Blanc. Pink is what, rose
Pink
or
Rafael.
rosa or something like. And tan is
I don't know.
Tian.
Wow, we're getting canceled.
Yep. Here come all the
Blue
YouTube
is
strikes.
blue.
I
It's
forgot
blue.
we're not allowed. You're not allowed to make fun anymore. We can't make fun of
No,
anybody.
no
No,
jokes.
no.
No jokes.
No
Stop.
humor.
This is very serious.
Pink.
I
Pink.
guessed correctly.
Wow.
Yes.
Any French listeners know that? Is that true? Is that something y'all
Bruce
do?
Press, maybe, huh?
Before
Bruce?
or after use. That's-
Well, I don't know. If it's pink, that might be questionable.
No complaints yet. So
Call somebody. Oh,
I don't
God,
know
you're gonna
why,
have me
Bruce. I
ask
don't know
this-
why they like it pink. I don't
This
know.
next word, really, Jay?
But
Wait for this next word that's going to pop up.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
I thought about you.
Coprostastophobia. Coprostastophobia? I don't know.
Sounds good to me.
Is the fear of what? Coprostas. Yeah, coprostastophobia. Whatever.
That's
Is it parasites, pirates, hiccuping, or constipation?
You could argue that pirates are parasites.
Good.
Did you see that Netflix show with the pirates? Bob, what was that one where they it's like
What's-
sort of historical reenactment?
Of what?
The pirates in the Caribbean, and it was like,
Oh, the
was pretty
Netflix
good.
show? Yeah.
it was
Pirate
really good.
Kingdom
Very
or
good.
something?
Yes, that's
It was
what
it was great because you would
Right.
see like the facts. Like this is, it's not sensationalized. This is like
Mhm.
kind of mostly what happened.
Mhm.
And there's the answer.
People have fear of that?
The
Yeah.
answer is constipation.
That
So
keeps some people up.
Copra
at night?
means poop, apparently.
Steve,
Yes,
you know
because
that?
a coprolite is a fossilized dinosaur crab. So that's how I knew that
Oh.
one.
There you go.
Any relation to Deepak Chopra?
Yes, he plays at the Copacabana each
Oh
night
my
on
God.
Thursdays.
I like Copra movies from the 1930s.
Mhm.
All right, let's see how everybody did here.
How'd everyone do? How'd you all do?
I did better than
Tabulating.
20%.
Ooh, a bunch of hundreds.
I got 4 out of
Okay,
5.
Olivia, I see your face.
Which is
Yeah,
not
she
bad
got
for
Olivia,
good job.
good job.
All right,
Good
there's a
job.
good collection of 100s, lots of
Right.
80s, lots of 60s. Pretty evenly spread though. Pretty good. This is what I'm
Good.
looking for.
You good?
All right, so going down real quick, the majority, 34%, guessed correctly about Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. Most people guessed Wellington correctly, but a close second was Auckland.
Yeah, that would be the only other.
Most people here obviously drink IPAs because they all guessed India Pale Ale.
I have no idea.
Teetotaler.
The pink toilet paper was not the number one choice. That was tan.
Yeah, I picked tan.
And constipation was by far the number one selection, with 60% getting it correct.
People
Yeah.
They know their shit.
Latin roots or Greek or whatever they
Very
are.
good, Ian.
Thank you.
Well played.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So good job, everybody. This was, some people thought this one was easy, but it was an even spread. So,
Mhm.
While we have everybody in front of their tabulation machines, did we want to do a poll about how many people are patrons versus non-patrons?
Yeah,
Talk
we were-
Yeah,
about
is that easy to do?
Yeah, I'll just pop
Let's
it
do
up.
it.
It's only going to be on YouTube. Sorry for everybody. So
it's easy.
migrate your butt over to YouTube. We just wanted to know for our end of fiscal fourth quarter. How about that? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a patron?
We have to log reports with the SEC and the FCC. It's not.
Yeah.
In
The head
FAA.
office asked us to tell them
Yeah.
what percentage of our Friday live stream viewership.
SGU corporate called down and said,
Yeah.
"Hey,
So the poll is up, and so go ahead and
Thank you.
answer that if you don't mind, please.
Meanwhile, you can ask us anything.
Oh, there
Yeah,
you go.
ask us questions.
we
if
won't
you want.
answer
Shoot us.
everything, but you can
You
ask
can-
us
We won't
anything."
necessarily
Speak
answer, we
into
don't
the
promise
void,
that.
please. I got some questions. I think some people were asking questions in the Discord, which is
Just
where we
asking
get the questions, which the mods have not picked any questions, but that's okay. Question for you, everybody that I'm making up on the spot. Boxers or briefs?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. Very good. That's what I expected.
I literally wear boxer briefs.
Yeah,
Oh.
me too. They're the best.
Boxer
that's
briefs.
good. Actually, I
Best
do
of both
that as
worlds.
well. So,
Absolutely.
I don't know what I was thinking. Does Steve
I
have
do
new
have
glasses?
new glasses. Yeah.
Wow.
So these are just my reading glasses. Jay was over last time. Jay was over the house. He saw me like cleaning them with paper towels. He's like, "Steve, what are you doing? You're going to ruin your lenses. You got to wash it gently with soap and water and go through this whole process." I'm like, Jay, this
$10
costs
readers.
$2.
Yeah.
I get a box of 6 of them for $12 so that I don't have to do that. So that I
Yeah.
could abuse them, break them, who cares? Every 5 or 6 months, I buy another box. That's it. So this is just the newest box is slightly different than the last one. I don't know why, but whatever.
Yeah, I freaked out because Steve was doing like everything wrong. And if you have glasses, I hope you know this, but when your glasses get dirty pretty much every day, you got to wash them with soap and water. That's the only thing that actually gets rid of the dirt and oil. If you get one of those super, soft cloths, they end up filling up with, dirt and oil, and then you're screwed. So just
Like
wash
this.
them.
This is my cloth.
Yeah.
It works well.
Yeah, but just and then when you dry
my
them, just
cloth.
don't rub across your lenses like Steve's doing right there. Don't do that.
And it works really well.
You got to blot dry them. That's it.
It's fast. It's convenient.
Yeah, but we know my glasses cost $300 to $400. It's a total.
Well, yes,
it's a
of
total
course. It
ripoff.
depends on the glasses. Yes.
Mhm.
So I
I
treat
agree.
my glasses very well.
People are asking what's on my shirt. The North Pole Sled Society. I'm not sure
Very
what
cool.
that is refers to,
Well,
but I like it.
Santa's looking kind of gaunt there.
So any other questions, Ian?
Yeah. Are any of the rogues watching the Wheel of Time series?
Yeah,
Have you
I'm
ever-
watching.
No,
it.
not
It's
yet.
okay.
No.
It's
Okay.
it's good. It's pretty. It's pretty good. It's not epic. It fell short of being epic, but it's solid. It's a solid fantasy genre TV show.
I haven't started yet. I don't have a lot of time to watch TV, but I will. I'm interested. I've heard a lot about it.
I'm watching the next season of The Great, which is
Oh, that's good.
such good acting and
Great.
writing. Oh my god.
Very funny. Very funny. A couple questions we have. If the Earth gets really messed up by us or a natural disaster, it would probably still be way more habitable than anywhere in space. Does it make sense to try to colonize Mars as an insurance now, or wouldn't it be cheaper to build a habitat on Earth?
It'll never be cheaper, better, or whatever to try to colonize Mars rather than just fixing and protecting our own planet.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, and I don't agree with Elon Musk about like we need people on another planet to save humanity. Like I think it's more of the
Why?
well, I mean, I'm not saying I disagree, but my if it were up to me, like the reason why I would like people to go to Mars is because one of the things about humanity that I do love and appreciate is our sense of, you know,
adventure.
our
Exploration.
curiosity, exploration, all of that. That's important. And you know, when we first started sending people into space, a lot of people became scientists because
Mhm.
it captured their attention. You know, it was, and I think it's an important thing for us to do.
Yeah, I think we should do it. I do think we should go to Mars. I just don't think that that's the strategy for like what we do if we destroy the Earth. That makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
If we have a self-sustaining colony on Mars, that's a hedge against the Earth being hit by a massive asteroid. or something like
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
But that's different. That's different.
If anybody wants to know something about Ian, ask a question.
No.
Oh yeah.
Steve, don't remember if it
We
was a
will
joke
tell
or
you.
not, but in an
Yeah.
older episode I listened to a while ago while you were talking about building a hobbit hole in the garden, did you?
No.
It's still in the works, but
Really?
I
In the
haven't done it
R&D
yet.
phase. R&D phase.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we are in the R&D phase, but absolutely.
I wonder how much it would cost to legit like build like a 2,500 square foot hobbit hole.
Well, people have done it, haven't they? I think we've seen
I
that.
don't
Yeah.
know.
2,500 square feet.
YouTube Hobbit.
Yeah, like
house.
you know.
Like bag end. What would it cost to build bag end? Human
Yeah.
size?
Human size, yeah.
It'd be
Yeah.
great
Living in a
for
real Hobbit house in Canada.
Be
heating
well
and air
insulated.
conditioning would be great.
And
Underground, it's basically like
Yeah.
it's like 58 degrees year round, so you just have to heat it, just a little bit in the
Yeah, there
in the
are
winter.
videos on YouTube. You can look.
I'm
for
going to
that.
ask you an embarrassing question in front of the world.
Who, Ian?
Ian,
I think his head just exploded.
Yeah.
what?
are you available on Wednesday night to do the year-end show with us again this
Oh
year?
crap. Sure. For
Okay.
you, anything.
Thank you, Ian.
Oh, anything,
I
Steve. You
Move some
heard him.
things around.
Anything
You heard him.
for Steve.
Good. Can you do all of the science or fiction stats for us?
Oh no.
No, somebody will send them to us.
Ian, we
No,
need someone to
no.
count how many times
Yeah,
we
we-
said the word
Please,
"the"
some brilliant
over the course.
listener, please.
Right. Listen to every episode and tell us how many times you said the word "the."
How many times the letter A appeared in a word that we spoke?
Oh no. Oh wait. The poll I think is done.
Yes.
Okay.
64% seems to 64% are patrons.
Good.
36% are not. It might still be going on. Now I'm gonna hit end. Anyway, very good. Thank you very much. That was only 200.
Well, that tells me two things.
400 people watching. So
What's that?
what does that tell you? It does tell you.
It
50.
tells me that
Yes,
you know, it would be if there are some people who haven't yet realized the opportunity to become a patron of the SGU.
Yeah,
they should
there's some
become.
headroom there.
There is, and there's various levels at which you can support the SGU by being a patron. And also, it means to me that those who are patrons, thank you so much, and also to be helping kind of spread the word about SGU and perhaps remind your friends and family that we put on this show. And if they'd like to test us out, just have them join us on Friday. We would love to talk with them here.
Sure.
Mhm.
Kind of show them what we're all about.
Yeah, and leave us a comment on wherever you listen to us because that helps new people find us.
Mhm.
Right? Remember back in iTunes when it was all about iTunes?
When we
Is
first
it-
started, our
that was
listeners were
it.
75% iTunes.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
it. That was the podcasting show, was iTunes. Now it's
That
much
is where
more
people
spread out.
went to get
Yeah, it's spread out.
their podcasts.
Yeah.
Definitely. Now it's all over the place.
What
Smash
Olivia
that
said.
like button.
Yeah, that's
There you go.
it.
It's the best for that. Number one.
She's got her head on straight.
She knows it.
I always
what's
liked her.
I always like the Webb telescope. We already talked about that. It's not not getting launched this year?
2 more days.
Two more
just
days.
a 2-day
Oh.
delay.
Two more days. I do a little talk on it, and the episode coming out tomorrow. Give
Yeah.
some
It
details
was
on
slightly
that.
delayed.
But it was slightly delayed, and that
It's a
delay news
technical
came out
delay, it's
after we
fine.
recorded our episode. So
Right.
Please keep
Everybody
that in
see this
mind.
coffin? Did I show this before, Jay? You
I don't
remember
think
this
you
guy,
did.
right?
I remember.
No?
okay, here we go with
I
Bob.
like this coffin.
Pop-up art.
It's really cool. What's inside?
A skeleton.
Dead body.
Uh,
Hey!
Oh.
why
Hey! I love
Wow,
my
that
little
was,
skeleton.
Interesting, different.
Things
a
that are near me, yes.
couple people were asking what's happening.
What's happening?
Just in general, what's happening? No, what's happening next week in terms of live stream and the following?
No.
No, very good.
Yeah,
we're off the next 2 Fridays.
Yeah,
folks. This
we're
is
off
the
the
last
next 2
one.
Fridays.
This is the last one for 2020.
I mean, it's literally Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. It's not
Yeah,
going to work
come
out.
on.
what Christmas
Come on.
coming?
We should have mentioned that. Thanks for reminding us. Yeah, we were off the next 2 weeks. Enjoy your Christmas. Enjoy your holiday. Enjoy Festivus
Mhm.
or whatever. Hanukkah. Is Hanukkah past or coming up?
Way past, gone.
We're way past it.
Way
It's
past.
like, is that one of those holidays that's a different date every year?
That's because it works on the Jewish calendar.
Yeah.
It was the same day
Right.
there.
But,
right? Not
it's funny. Like I so don't think of Christmas as a religious holiday at all. It's
isn't.
just Christmas. It's its
It's
own
a family
thing,
holiday.
right?
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean,
it's
I
a
just
corporate
like
holiday.
I like the winter vibe. I like hunkering in with people and eating and talking to each other.
Right.
I like that. And
And then on January 1st, I am ready for spring.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
like
If we could go
dawn-
from January 1st to spring, I'd be okay with me.
Oh, hey,
Yeah,
cool.
we're not getting much of a real winter here though. This winter is like global
Oh, yeah, I
warming
was
It was
winter.
60
outside.
degrees out today, and
I was
Yeah.
It was
outside in a
60,
t-shirt.
60.
I've never seen such a warm December in my life.
maybe this global warming thing's not so bad after all.
This is what you call an Indian summer. Although, is that racist?
Ooh,
Now that I
can't
think about it?
yeah.
Can we still
they
say
did
that?
away with that a while ago. Yeah, can't do
Well,
that.
what's the derivation of that makes it bad though?
Right. I mean,
Or is it just because?
it's just
Yeah.
you're not supposed to use that term
I
in
don't know.
almost any capacity. That's why I cringed when
have
Jay's
to look that up.
question came up.
I'm literally crippled. Like I stop myself from talking and telling jokes. That's where I'm at. I grew up in the 70s. I'm heavily polluted with inappropriate shit. I don't know, and I don't know how to deprogram it out of my head. Like everything's funny to me. I make fun of everyone, and apparently I'm wrong all the time. So I just gotta stop talking. So what else can you do?
Yeah, you could be yourself around me, bro. Don't worry about it.
I know. I mean, yeah, certain people I know that won't get offended. I just don't. I don't have a good. Just like I can't pronounce a lot of words well, I just don't have the instinct, the executive function that says, "Don't say that. It's no longer acceptable," because it
Yeah.
was acceptable once at some point, and I don't have
There are some rules of thumb though. Like don't punch down is a good
Yeah.
rule.
Mhm, yeah.
of course.
And that takes care of like 95% of it. If you think about it.
I know, but we've talked about this. Like, I'm just going to be honest with everyone. I mean, I hope I don't insult anyone, but like, I think accents are super funny.
Mhm.
I like to talk in accents. I have a handful that I do all the time. Right?
Yes, you do.
And I just still to
Fine,
this
fine.
day don't understand why it's offensive. Like, I make fun of
Because it is.
I know. I guess it is. It offends people, but I think they're
It
funny.
offends some people. It just
When
does.
comedians
Because
do it, I think
the
it's
problem
funny.
is, or here's the problem with accents, is that they are often not genuine. They are caricatures meant to make fun of another culture and another people, and are actually a tool of oppression. So this is like if you recently, what's his name? The guy who voiced Apu,
Yeah, Hank Azaria.
Hank Azaria had, I listened to a long interview with him because he basically stopped doing Apu and did like spent some time exploring this issue and
Mhm.
came to the conclusion that this was bad and basically talking to Indian people, apologizing to them individually and collectively. And he heard a lot of stories about what Apu meant to, like, if you're an Indian American, the fact that, it was basically used to make fun of you. Like that character, that accent, where like actors who of Indian descent, like being forced to play characters with the caricature Indian accent, even though they speak perfectly good English. They don't speak with an accent.
Yeah.
So it is actually, you have to see it from their perspective. I mean, and like we're too privileged to really know what that's like, but every now and then I get a little sliver of a window into what it must be like when somebody who has absolutely no idea about like Italian American culture tries to make fun of it, and they do it so badly, it's just stupid.
Yeah.
And there is something insulting about it. It's like, really? Like you're not even trying. Like that. I'm okay if you do like a real Brooklyn accent, a real Goomba, hit whatever. That could be funny, and I don't get offended at that. But when some people do it and it's bad and it's meant to be bad in a way, you get a little bit of a window into what.
So you mean
that might
Chris
be like.
Pratt voicing Mario?
Or yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Steve, what about the idea that it's Family Guy, right?
Yeah.
No,
No, that's Simpsons.
Apu is
Simpsons. So we're talking Simpsons. Let's talk about like how stupid Homer is.
Yeah.
Like, is that offensive?
But who's he making fun of though?
Well, I would argue that Homer is a representative of like the average dumb
Low
white
IQ
guy.
kind of.
Yeah, but not really.
Population.
He's not really. You don't see Homer as making fun of white people. Homer's his own entity.
I don't know. I see Homer making fun of Americans.
Well, that's fine because we're making fun of ourselves. It's not punching down.
Yeah.
And we have Americans have a unique perspective on how to make fun of Americans. Like self-criticism, I think is fine. Self-reflection, self-deprecation. I think that's constructive. I think that's a good use of humor.
Yeah.
But if you're using it to make fun of something out of your own ignorance of that other culture or those other people, it's funny too because you're ignorant of it. You're not sophisticated. You're not cosmopolitan. That's when you should avoid it. And then when you learn about a culture, and so I've also had the experience of like getting more familiar with the culture, and then you realize, oh, I was an asshole before I had some awareness of this culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you just stop doing it because you realize all of my humor was based upon being unsophisticated and not understanding of another culture.
Yeah.
It's not a good look, But whatever. When we were kids, we were kids. Now we just have to transition to.
All right, so they want us to define what punching down means.
So, punching, and all these things are going to be vague, but it basically is the idea that somebody from a position of greater cultural privilege or power is making fun of somebody who is in a less powerful position, right? So like if you're a member of a dominant or majority culture in a society, making fun of somebody in a minority, culture or subculture in that same society, right? I mean, it's not that hard a concept to understand.
Yeah, she just didn't know.
That
native English speaker. Well, then what about comedians that continue to use accents and make fun of different cultures and stuff? Like, even in that context.
It's an evolving standard, no doubt. A lot of comedians will make fun of their own culture. Like, you have the Jewish comedians making fun of Jewish culture, or black, comedians making fun of black culture or whatever. And you got to be careful. There's a fine line. One of the South Park writers, when we interviewed them, said that the funnier you are, the more license you have.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, of course.
But part of being funny,
so much in South Park out of its South Park context would not be acceptable on any level.
Yeah, totally.
But only in the South Park context does it manage to still survive and thrive, frankly.
Right. But also, I think being funny isn't just about it's funny in a certain way. It's funny because it's clever, because it's insightful, because it's real. It's exposing something real and not just about them, but also about us. You know what I mean? And if you can pull it off, great. But it's risky. I
Yeah.
wouldn't do it unless you really know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Is the bottom line.
And in
Yep.
recent interviews with the South Park guys, they're basically saying we're just waiting for the day to them to pull the plug. It's not a matter of if. It's they just said whenever it happens, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
They expect it to happen at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, somebody brought up Dave Chappelle and
Yeah.
his anti-trans comments.
Oh gosh, yeah. It's a
And
whole thing.
I look at that whole thing like, I think what he did was it's bad. It is bad.
It was bad.
And he sounds very ignorant. But like
Right.
when a rando comedian is making fun of some, whatever, it could be Italians, it could be anybody. Like, again, like Steve said, if it's funny, it doesn't even hit my brain that there's anything wrong. It's just we're just making fun of each other, and I think that we should be able to make fun of each other in the right way, right?
Yeah. But
it's like
the right way is doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Of course, that's like the porn thing. Like you can't define it, but I know it when I see it, type of thing.
Yeah. Right.
So I don't know. It is complicated, and the world is changing, and this is all good, and I don't disagree. I am acknowledging my own personal shortcomings, and I'm trying to deal with it like an adult, like everybody should be. I'm making fun of myself when I say this, of course. I do know when to keep my mouth shut most of the time.
We're there to help remind you if needed.
And I think I make most of my mistakes when I'm around people I'm the most comfortable with.
Hey, let your guard down.
Yeah, my guard's completely gone.
Yeah. There's also, but that's we're gonna pull the plug on that.
Oh yeah,
but that's also true. I think it's fine to, like, if you're in a very intimate crowd who know you and know you're not racist and all that stuff, you could be a little bit more free. But you could say things that you wouldn't say in front of people who don't know you, because you're inviting misinterpretation.
Familiarity counts. That's right.
Right. Or again, you know your audience. But anyway, you should still be careful. But
I think we should be open, though.
I still make fun of Michael Caine and his accent.
Yes, of course.
Michael Caine.
I think we should be open. Like, I am willing to say that I had to learn what white privilege means. I didn't instinctively understand white privilege. I did the same thing that every other person did. Like, what's my privilege? I had to be told that, and explain the situation. And then when you're finally hearing it for the first time, for real, when you're actually listening and acknowledging what's being said, then it becomes super obvious. Oh, of course, that's what that is.
Yeah.
But there was a good year or two of my life where I heard that and I'm like, what? Right?
Yeah, a lot of it was just listening to people. Like, I remember when the Me Too movement hit, the four of us had this experience because we thought we were like, feminist and we were like not
assholes,
being
not
sexist or assholes or whatever. And then when like every woman in our life was like, oh yeah, that happens all the time. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like they started like really opening up about what their life experience was. Like, why is this the first time
how shitty they've been treated?
I'm hearing about this? And that was definitely one of those like male privilege eye-opening experiences.
Totally,
like we get to walk through life without thinking about any of these things.
My wife told me that she will not leave a supermarket at night without walking out with another woman. She'll wait till a woman's leaving and go out with them.
Wow.
And I was like, are you kidding me? I have never in my life ever been conscious of me exiting any kind of building in any way of a safety thing ever. And that, to me, when she said that to me, that was one of the first real, like, wow, I don't know how lucky I am because I never have to think about that shit.
Exactly. Then I was listening to an interview with a black actor who was telling about like being in a store and the clerk asks him, do you want a receipt? And it's saying that only a white person would ask a black person, do you need a receipt? It's like, you really want me to walk out of this store without a bag and without a receipt for the things that I just purchased?
Yeah.
Like, that's the privilege, was like asking that question and not realizing how that's not the world they're living in. They don't live in a world where they can walk out of a store
Yeah.
without a bag and a receipt.
You know, how
Whereas
about
we would never think about it. We
never? How about
right?
But how about the idea of black kids having to, you're becoming
To
young
talk.
adults, and they
To
have
talk,
to be
yeah.
told, put your both hands on the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Like when I heard that, I wanted to cry. Like that is a
Yeah.
reality that people live in, and like so I'm doing everything, to be very clear. I'm doing everything to understand what it's like to
Yeah.
have these problems, and it is humbling. And I really do appreciate the fact that I was able to live a life where I didn't have to worry about that stuff. I almost feel like guilty about it. Like you get this
Mhm.
sense like, Christ, I didn't realize I was walking around like I owned the joint and didn't even know it. So that's pretty messed up. That is a humbling
But
experience.
I think it's growing pains for our culture, and I'm hoping that we'll get through this to
Yeah.
a place where, again, we'd like to get to that place where we have like the colorblind society where everyone's
Yeah.
just equal and treated like individuals. You can't go directly there because there's
Yeah.
too much baggage you got to
much.
deal with.
Steve,
But it's a process. I hope we'll
yeah.
get.
Did I tell you the story? I'm in Target with Mom,
Yeah.
and she bought some stuff, and she's like, she's walking out with me, and she's like, oh, I don't have the receipt or a bag, and I'm like, don't worry, Mom, you don't need it. She's like, why? And I'm like, because you're white,
Because you're
and she,
could not deal with that.
so hard to explain to her
Yeah.
what I meant. I tried, but I think I utterly failed.
No.
I mean, she's
There's a
Wrong
generation
generation.
gap there.
She's
Yeah.
84.
Yeah,
She's
but to give her
beyond.
credit, though, all on her own, she completely figured out like that the Republican Party went over the edge. And we talked with her in the very beginning about what was happening to the Republican Party, and then the danger of what Donald Trump introduced to that party and everything. And she was fully Fox News, and she pulled herself out of that. Right? I mean, I know that we helped, but she was able to do that. She learned.
I work
she
on
actually
on
learned
To
her
some extent.
all the time.
Yeah.
She did, but
We
there are things.
deprogrammed her.
It's a process.
Right, but when you grew up in the 50s and you're 84, there's a point you just can't you can't go beyond. And
There
it's
were some things we had to just give up on.
frustrating
Yeah.
as hell. But
Yeah. Are we going to have that same problem though, guys, when we get into our 80s?
I hope not.
Is there going to
I
be?
hope not. I don't think it'll be nearly as dramatic. Just because it's kind of like we're inoculated to a certain extent.
I think
because
skepticism.
we're so
It helps. Skepticism helps.
Yeah, I
we
think
think
our
about
critical thinking allows us
absolutely
to have humility with knowledge and understanding.
Yeah.
So if my children end up telling me something socially that has dramatically changed that I'm missing the boat on, and they sit me down and explain it to me, I hope that my critical thinking will still be there and help me just go, oh, okay.
It helps, but it's not proof. So to get you say, like what we always talk about, what's the issue? What's going to be the thing that our kids will give up explaining to us? I'm not saying this for us personally, but for our generation and older, I think like one of those issues is the trans issue.
Yeah.
Like just like older people just don't get it. Like they don't get it.
I don't understand that at all. Like
because they lived in a binary world all their life.
Binary world. They cannot get out of the binary world.
80
yeah,
years.
but how could you argue that it's not in the spectrum of reasonable possibility that someone would be born with some type of situation where it's not clear?
Because
binary like the spectrum is so obvious. Like it isn't black and white. It hasn't been black and white for a long time.
It's like the gay thing from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Now it's trans is going through the same thing. And it's the same arguments. It's the same arguments. They just recycled everything, for anti-trans that they were doing for the anti-gay marriage, anti-gay, 10, 20 years ago. And that's what I think is going to be the thing for our generation. There might be other things like meat eating is the other thing we bring up. Like, our kids are going to explain to us why we can't eat meat. Like, give me that freaking hamburger. But I don't know, I'm still hoping we'll technology our way out of that one. But there's a lot of skeptics, a lot of older skeptics who don't get it.
And I'll make one more point.
All right, then we'll gotta go.
It is so good to have a group of people like you guys are my group of people that are my thought police, right? We all police each other. We all it's like a intellectual support group where we keep it real with all of us. Like it's good to engage.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I got to go. I have 15 minutes and I have to go eat before I give this talk or I'm going to pass out.
Right.
All right, guys. Enjoy your holidays. Have a great new year. We'll see you in
Thanks for joining us.
2022.
See you next year.
Thanks, Ian.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
And
All
this
you
has
out there.
been your Friday.
I'm out.
Bye, Bob.
Bye, Bob.
Bye,
Oh, Bob's
Bob.
gone. Right
Bye, Bob.
before the,
Okay.
before the
Yeah,
curtain
we're gone.
closes, Bob walks.
Skeptic's Guide to the Universe is produced by SGU Productions, dedicated to promoting science and critical thinking. For more information, visit us at theskepticsguide.org. Send your questions to info@theskepticsguide.org. And if you would like to support the show and all the work that we do, go to patreon.com/skepticsguide and consider becoming a patron and becoming part of the SGU community. Our listeners and supporters are what make SGU possible.
It's so funny. It's so awesome. Like there was no way that even though I really do have to go, I was not gonna hang out. And
The
so
Mary Skepticness or something.
Evan, I'm in the admin window for Restream.
Oh,
Yep.
Ian was teaching me to do some stuff in here.
Oh, okay, good.
So I could see when Bob and Steve logged off.
Yeah.
And I just started laughing because I'm like, they're gone already. Like the show's
Bob
already
was
on.
gone before we drew
Cool.
the curtain on the show. He walked off the stage,
I
basically.
know, Bob
Oh,
was done.
gosh.
Let's
He has
call
no
it like it
stage
is.
presence.
He was
We're only
done an
gonna do-
hour ago.
Yeah.
He was ready to,
Jay, I know you got to go. Ian, you got to go. So we're going to be real short today on this post
Yes.
show. But I just want to say thanks to everyone for 2021, another challenging year in so many ways, that we're coming back and finally doing live shows again and people coming out to see us and that you continue to support us and people sticking with us on Patreon. Really, really fantastic. I can't thank you all enough. So I'm dedicating 2021 as the year of the SGU fan, frankly.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, you guys know this. Like, I am being paid by our patrons, right? And partly patrons and partly advertising. But I look at it like the bulk of it is the patrons. I can't thank you enough. Like, I get to work on something that is actually meaningful to me. I've worked for people my whole life. I owned a couple of companies during my life. Nothing had meaning like the SGU does. Like, this is way beyond just a podcast to me. It's like it is like a way. It's a way of life. I mean, I couldn't imagine my life without it. So can't thank you guys enough.
No, we've been doing this show 17 years. We've been in skepticism 25 full years now. That's half my life. I mean, simply the investment in certainly time, energy, so many other things, but frankly, the great people. And so I've learned so much from all of you.
Oh yeah.
My education continues to this very day. Why would I ever walk away from something like this? It's just, I count my blessings. Not making a religious statement there, please, but I think you know what I'm saying. I count my blessings that I'm able to do this.
I feel I'll use the word again. I feel privileged to be in this position. Like, I feel very, very lucky to be here and to get to do what we do.
We do not take this for granted by any stretch at all. And we respect, and we really do respect our audience. We put out a show every week, come heck or high water, no matter what happens. We're doing this Friday thing for everyone. I mean, because we have massive respect for our great audience, and it is a great audience.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. So thank you.
Have
a great holiday. Happy New Year. Please be safe over the New Year's. So it's statistically very bad. And we didn't talk about the virus at all. Very quickly, it's coming back. It's becoming dangerous to go out again. Just please be careful. Wear your mask. yeah, take a few steps back. We're going back to the way it was 12 months ago for a little while. So just be careful.
Get that boosty boost.
Yep.
Also, we want to make these live streams even better. So if you have any suggestions, go ahead and put them in the Discord or email us or whatever. Especially for guests that we might be able to fly in for these Friday night.
Ooh, yes,
things,
absolutely. We
you
got
know,
some good
some
suggestions today, and I don't know if you made
interesting
note of that, but I'll
TikTokers.
send you some
Yeah,
things
you can
I
send it.
saw. And we're gonna also I and Ian are gonna continue to do the post Friday thing. So
Don't
you
do
dare.
anything. It's the people that are smart enough to stay and they realize it. That's cool. But we can't announce this. Like it's got to be our
no
thing.
announcements.
It's our thing.
It's our thing. You, us, three of us, Ian, me, Jay. That's it. It's our
Next
thing.
time
And it will continue.
When we do it, when we come back the first week of January,
Yep.
we will do a poll and see how many people know about this.
That's right.
Okay.
If you know, watermelons in chat. That's all. That's the word.
Yeah, right.
Watermelon is the secret password.
The important thing is don't tell Steve, don't tell
Yes.
Bob.
Yes, don't tell those guys. All right, guys. Good night.
That's
See
it.
you.
Good night. Next year.
Bye
Take care,
bye.
everyone. Bye bye.
I'm
Thank
gonna
you, Ian.
slowly turn you guys off. Bye bye, Evan.
Bye. Thank you for
Bye
everything.
bye, Jay. Oh, I turned him back on. Yep. That's it. Mary, Mary.